Welcome to episode 3 of Unsigned. Yep, it has been another 2 weeks, and this is episode number 3, and we are ready to rock. Can you believe it is already August? Well, you can feel it outside here in Los Angeles, but what I'm feeling is the fact that I thought I was going to have my book edited and done and almost ready for publication by the end of summer. Well, this is not exactly going to happen, and that's okay, because it's a process, and I'm learning a ton. And to be quite honest, getting it out sooner and not having it be as good as it could be is not as important as taking that extra time and that extra beat and making sure that I'm really going to be delivering the best product possible. And of course, if I've been working on this book for this many years, why speed towards the finish line? And instead of making sure that we got all the T's crossed and the I's dotted and all the other things done and make sure that this book really zigs and zags and sings in all the ways I want it to do so. So we keep on going, we keep on plugging, and here we are with another update and another topic. So real fast, before I get to the topic, I'm going to do the update. But the topic, so you know what's coming, is the difference between the autobiography and the memoir. Okay, put that on hold. Let's get back to my process. So the last time that I did this episode, number 2, I was in chapter 2. I had just completed the introduction in 1 and dove into chapter 2. A lot of stuff happens in the early chapters of this book. Things speed up a little bit, especially down the road when the cancer comes in and the other kind of stuff that goes later on. But the early stuff, I mean, we're putting a lot of life that happens before cancer into the beginning. And so, I mean, chapter 2 is beefy. Chapter 3 is massive. And so I'm finding that the process of editing it is quite time consuming because I'm doing a lot of rewriting, not just editing, not just cutting, not just cleaning, but actually taking whole chunks of sections and redoing them completely. And there's a reason for that. And I'm going to get to that in a minute when we talk about the difference in the kind of books that we're doing. But I'm working through it. I would say that I should be done with chapter 3 in the next 1 to 2 days and then move on from there. And we're going to keep going and keep rocking. And hopefully within the next 2 weeks, this will continue to speed up as I keep learning, as I keep going. And by the time we do the next episode in 2 weeks from now, maybe I'll be done with 4, maybe I'll be on 5, who knows. But I think at the moment I'm averaging about a chapter a week, and okay, that's fine. You know, before I get on to the topic today, I was given some advice and some guidance from, I'll call him a mentor, a guy named Jay Sammet, who is an author, a speaker, really great guy who actually became a member of my men's group. And he gave me an hour-long phone call just to give me guidance and listen to my story and what I want to do with the book and everything like that. And one thing he told me was, as far as publishing goes, not publishers, but just publishing as far as a time frame, is that, you know, books are scheduled, I mean, from a publisher, it's 12 to 18 months out, but in general, they're done by the quarter. And now that we're in August, the next set of releases is going to come in Q4, which is October through December. And what he said was, you don't really want to release a book when you're not a known author or a celebrity in Q4. The reason being is that all the big celebrity memoirs typically come out in Q4. Because, well, the holidays are coming up and memoirs of well-known people and celebrities and stuff make really good gifts, I guess, for the holidays. So typically, if you're going to release a book like a memoir by someone like myself, who is not quite as known yet as the others out there, then maybe a better strategy would be to hold off to Q1 or Q2. Jay said he likes to release them in the summer sometimes. So, hey, I guess whatever the case may be, we're right on target and right on time for where we're supposed to be with this book. So we accept it. We keep working a little every day, and eventually we're going to get to that finish line and have a great completed packaged memoir. Good segue, because memoir versus autobiography is the topic I wanted to talk about today, because what is the difference? Honestly, when I got started, I said I'm writing a memoir. I mean, I wanted to call it a teaching memoir because of adding the element of sort of self-help, personal development. But I really didn't know kind of the difference that autobiography had versus a memoir had. I just sort of assumed I knew, and I just started writing because I thought, hey, I'm writing my story. I don't really know what an autobiography is different from memoir. I guess I thought they were the same thing. And then, of course, there's the biography where someone else is writing about you. So what's the difference? Well, what I learned is that my book really reads, in the initial draft, or the second draft now too, really reads as a sort of autobiography meets personal development. And so now I'm on draft 3. We are shifting that to be a memoir with a little bit of a teaching element, but a lot less of the slamming over your head sort of teaching personal development, self-help, because a memoir really needs to tell the story. So what is the difference? Okay, an autobiography, well, auto, meaning you, me, are writing the book. This is your whole life. I mean, your whole life. It's chronological. It's from birth until present moment, and it's weighted towards the facts and actually comprehensive accuracy of your life. So you're doing a lot of telling. This happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. And of course, good writing is good writing. And will there be stories and very lovely words put together to make it sound and read great? Well, I certainly hope so. But essentially, the autobiography is just giving us a chronological look back at life and all the things that one lived through and went through. And that's interesting. I would see that maybe a very well-known individual who's been an athlete, an actor, a musician for many, many years, to really learn about all the interesting odds and ends and factoids about their childhood and stuff could be fascinating to many. But when you really don't know the person and you just want a really inspirational or entertaining story, memoir is really going to be the separation there. And where memoir separates from autobiography is that memoir is more of a slice, right? It's not the whole pie. It's actually built around a specific theme or a period, and it's more interested in the emotional truth than the complete factual record. It uses craft and scene and dialogue, reflection, etc., rather than just recounting. So as my editor, Corbin, says, show us, don't tell us, right? So I did a lot of telling, not really realizing what that was, because I thought I was writing a book. You tell, right? How do you show in a book? I mean, when I do film, I understand show. Don't explain everything. Show us, right? But as far as the books go, I didn't really know what that meant until now. And I get it. And I really understand that we're really unpacking things. We're not giving the list of this happened, this happened, this happened. We're grabbing the piece of it that it fits the arc of the story, and we are painting the picture. We are drawing the scene out. We are bringing in the emotions, and it all has to come back to the arc. So that's where I really learned a lot as far as what I'm doing, is because when I set out to do this, I wanted to do a memoir. I'm not really autobiography yet. I mean, I guess there's a lot of crazy things in my life that could make an autobiography, or maybe one day a biography where someone writes a story for me. That probably won't happen, but I have too much need to control what's going to be put out there. But as far as going with the memoir, it's also about, well, what is the topic of the memoir? What is the story? What is the slice that we're telling people? And my book really hit the cancer story hard, because I thought, well, it's really a story about my cancer journey and everything I learned and how I can teach people to experience illness or adversity with the ways I overcame mine. And then, of course, all the backstory will feed us all the information to know where I came from and who I was to get me to the person that I became to face cancer and beyond. I know that's a lot of words there. But the point of this is that everything I did there, that's too autobiographical. Also, I had to decide right away, is this a cancer book or is it something else? See, I want to make sure that we're honoring the cancer journey, because I did promise that I was going to really flesh out all the things I went through in a deeper dive than I did in just the videos and the updates that I did going through cancer, because there was so much that you couldn't just share it in little updates. But at the same time, I don't want the audience of this book to just be cancer patients and caregivers and things like that. Essentially, I don't want it to be just a cancer book. Excuse me. So it became time to find the arc, the story. And I do have mine, and I will hold it back just for now until we're a little closer. But I did find that there is a different story, a different through line, if you will, that still includes cancer, that still includes everything I went through when I was younger without every single detail, but that finds a common theme that will reach a lot more people and be a lot more universally sort of received and understood, and really take us on a journey that could be really told as a story. And so that's what we're doing now. And that's why the editing for me is taking so long. It's because I'm having to lop out, then I did this, and then I did that. Then I played in this band and then that band. And then I worked on this film and then I worked on that show. You know, like fun, great, nice to know that I worked with people and did like all this stuff. But how does telling about that stuff really serve the arc, serve the through line? So those have to go. And if there's a story that actually serves us to meet that through line, to then see it through, to then know why I had to go to the end and go on this journey. Now we keep it, and then we rewrite it as showing versus telling, as flushing it out with details that graphically put us there, that let us feel what I was going through in the time, so we can get emotionally involved in it, and not sort of try to fix things or just right the ship so fast, which I tend to do. Like, here's what I went through, here's the lesson, how we learned it, moving on to the next, because I always like to weave a lesson in. But that sort of ruins the moment, if you will. It breaks the tension. And memoir needs to read more, not to say novel, but more like a story with a cliffhanger, with tension, with how do we want to keep turning every page, because we need to know what happened, and we feel so drawn and connected to our main character that we want to follow the story, the journey, if you will, through the arc, to see him or her go through it, and then learn the lesson or have the change, because on the other side of memoir, we have to present the change, the what came from it, what came out of it, and how the story sort of finds its way. I mean, it's all the hero's journey, right? That's almost every story. But the memoir takes us on that fold where we're going through, we're seeing everything, we're serving the story, we're serving the through line, and then we're taking us to the other side where we're going to have the change and everything manifest in that space. So that's where we are, and that's what a memoir is. Now, if you're writing an autobiography, that's great, but understand the difference, because are you recounting life, or are you telling us a slice of life with a story, a through line, and an arc? And if you're writing a personal development book, or you're weaving personal development in, understand that this type of fictional book really is a guide that helps readers improve their habits, mindset, life skills, etc. And those are great. It's probably my favorite kind of book, but that's not a memoir, and that's not an autobiography. Also, those things can be in there, and it's good that people learn things. But what I'm learning also is that my book can inspire and teach without me having to spell it out, where the reader goes on the journey with me and feels what I'm feeling, and they get to draw their own conclusions and learn their own lessons, instead of me being like, okay, now here's what you need to do, here's what you should do, here's how it's going to go. I'm going to try to leave a couple bits of that in there around like the embrace, love, free philosophy, but for the most part, a lot of that's gone. And don't worry, it's not gone forever. We're saving all the cool lessons, because I think they could make for good articles and stories and things that would be more niche specific later on. But the memoir is the memoir, and I am writing a memoir. So that's where we're at. That's episode 3. In episode 4, I'm not exactly sure what we're going to talk about. I have a few different ideas, but I'm going to be meeting with Corbin. Her name is Corbin Lures, by the way. That's my editor. I've only said her first name up till now. I'm meeting with her this week, and we're going to have this sort of big breakthrough sort of session to go over all the notes she gave me, to then make sure I'm on the right track and stuff, and then come back next time. I'm going to have a lot of info from our call. I may talk about chapter titles, book titles, things like that. These are all things that are on my mind, and they're going to come up soon. So continue to stay tuned, subscribe and follow and share with anybody else. And please drop a comment. I'd love to know what you're up to. If you are an author, what kind of book have you written? Or are you writing a book? Is it nonfiction? Is it a memoir? Is it autobiography? Are you not sure? Did my little rant today make you more confused or give you clarity? Please let me know. I'd love to have some dialogue with you around it. So with that, I will say goodbye for now. Enjoy your week, 2 weeks rather, and I will see you on the next episode of Unsigned. Peace.